Anytime you report on a murder, it's a sad situation. It is hugely sad when it's around Christmas. And what I'm about to describe to you is even 10 times that worse.
It was supposed to be a quiet Monday night, 3 days before Christmas, a house glowing with holiday lights, a tree standing in the corner, wrapped gifts waiting underneath, untouched. Inside that home, no one knew they were hours away from a moment that would fracture everything. Because sometimes the most devastating stories don't begin with warning signs or sirens. They begin with something painfully ordinary, a television, a football game, and an argument that refused to stay small. Just before 11 p.m., the home in Lakeland's Highland City area was alive with noise. The television was on. Footsteps moved between rooms. Children were still awake. Jason Kinney had been drinking that night. He spent time outside, then came back inside, settling into the living room to watch the end of a Monday night football game.
Trying to win out, take the number 1 seed in the NFC. This is Owen. Second straight week returning kicks to the 29. Here comes the Colts offense.
Center, but I do believe the game plan will open up.
Rivers going to air it out to start his night. Pittman downfield underthrown, looking for a flag and won't get it. So there you go. They're going to shut this one down for a full start, and so 2nd and 10 becomes 2nd and 15.
Crystal Kinney didn't want the TV on. What started as a disagreement quickly grew louder, sharper, heavier. Voices rose, tension thickened, and then Crystal did something that suggested she already felt something slipping out of control. She told her 12-year-old to call 911.
Good evening, I'm Paola Suro. Thanks for joining us for News Channel 8 on the CW Tampa Bay. 2 people are dead and a young girl is in the ICU after a murder-suicide in Polk County. Sheriff Grady Judd says the crime is so heinous, even his own homicide detectives were horrified. News Channel 8's Ryan Arbogast has reaction from law enforcement and from people who knew the victims.
Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd said it best. He calls this a crime that completely and utterly destroyed an entire family. Neighbors we spoke to here say they're shocked, they're appalled, and they're still at a loss for words on exactly how their street turned into a massive crime scene late last night.
Jason Kinney, who's 47, is married to Crystal Kinney. And Jason's been drinking during the evening. And he's watching his football team, the 49ers, play football. Well, they're having a good night. They're winning. In fact, they won big. Sometime toward the end of the game, at around 11 o'clock, an argument began when Crystal suggested they watch something else on television. And the argument got really heated. Crystal told her 12-year-old son to go to call 911.
For a child, those words don't mean help is coming. They mean fear. They mean urgency. They mean something is wrong in a way that feels permanent. The boy ran out toward a phone, but toward survival. He fled the house, heading for a neighbor's home as the argument behind him reached a breaking point. And then gunshots. Loud, sudden, final. By the time deputies were on the way, the house had already changed forever.
First comes the fire trucks, then the ambulance, then the cops.
And what I'm about to describe to you is even 10 times that worse.
A mother of 3, wife and friend, murdered in cold blood.
This is things that are never supposed to happen.
According to the Polk County Sheriff's Office, killed by the man she called her husband, 47-year-old Jason Kinney.
Crystal Kinney, the wife of Jason, is shot in the head and dead. But it gets worse.
Polk County deputies got a 911 call from Crystal's 12-year-old boy, running from his home along Lemon Avenue in Lakeland after a fight over TV channels got violent.
As he's leaving the house, he hears a gunshot.
Deputies arrived, finding Kenny's 1-year-old child unharmed and his 13-year-old stepdaughter inside, bleeding out. Luckily, the young girl able to talk to law enforcement.
She said, I begged him, don't shoot me, don't shoot me, don't shoot me, and he shot me anyway.
Neighbors tell us the Split family lived there for about a year.
They're good people, good neighbors. Couldn't ask for no better.
We found a note that at some time in the past Crystal wrote, and it was open, where she told Jason, you know, you're drinking, you're using cocaine again.
Jason Kenny has no history of domestic abuse and no prior arrests. This picture isn't a mugshot because Kenny never made it to jail. He drove to Lake Wales and shot himself, taking his own life.
Quite frankly, I don't want to sound sinister, but the only thing he did right that night was shoot himself.
Sheriff Judd says there's one good thing, one Christmas miracle, as he put it. The 13-year-old girl that was shot multiple times is expected to be okay despite being in critical condition.
When deputies arrived minutes later, they found silence where noise had been. Crystal Kenny was lying in the living room. She had been shot in the head. She was already gone. Nearby, her 13-year-old daughter had been hit twice, one in the shoulder, one in the face. Despite her injuries, she was still alive, still breathing. She was rushed to the hospital, clinging to life. Later, investigators would reveal something chilling, that in her final moments, Crystal begged. She begged him not to shoot again and again. It didn't stop him. In another room, untouched by chaos, a 1-year-old baby slept peacefully in her crib. She had heard nothing, seen nothing, and yet her life had been permanently altered. She would wake up in a world where her mother was gone, and her father would soon be gone too. After the shooting, Jason Kenny didn't stay. He left the house, got into his truck, and drove away. But before disappearing completely, he made a phone call. He contacted his sister, hundreds of miles away in upstate New York.
When we enter the house, we see that Crystal Kenny, the wife of Jason, is shot in the head and dead. But it gets worse. We go into the bedroom and we see a 13-year-old child, a little girl. She shot twice. She shot in the shoulder and she shot in the face. We later learned the bullet in the face hit her on the bridge of the nose, went straight up and out the top of her head. She is alive in critical condition, but stable at Lakeland Regional Health and is alert and talking. That's a Christmas miracle. Jason shot her twice and intended to kill her. He didn't, however, shoot his biological child, thank God, who was 1 year old and in a crib. He shot his stepdaughter. He didn't get a chance to shoot his stepson, who had run to dial 911. Jason then jumps into his vehicle and flees the scene just prior to deputies arriving.
His words were vague, but unmistakable. He told her he had done something really bad and that he wasn't going to jail. That phone call would be the last warning anyone would get. Deputies tracked Jason to Lake Wales, to property that once belonged to his late father. They found him hiding inside a shed, surrounded, cornered, giving commands to surrender. For a brief moment, there was still the possibility of answers, then a single gunshot. When deputies entered the shed, Jason Kenny was dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Just like that, the man who had all the answers took them with him.
He is going toward Lake Wales. He calls his sister in upstate New York and he says, I've done something very, very bad. Very bad. I did something terrible. And this is the last time you'll ever talk to me. You'll see me on the news, but I am not going to jail. I'm not going to jail for the rest of my life. So he goes to his father's house, which apparently is currently in probate. His father's deceased. And there's a friend staying there. When he gets to the house, he immediately goes into a shed. Deputies now are tracking Jason. We set up a perimeter and start yelling for Jason to come out of this shed, which is adjacent to the home. And the deputies hear a single gunshot. When we make entrance into the shed, we find that Jason has shot himself in the forehead, and he too is deceased.
Back at the house, investigators began piecing together the life that had existed before the violence. Neighbors spoke quietly. They mentioned arguments, tension, but there had never been a 911 call from that home before. No police reports, no criminal record. Then detectives found something else, a handwritten note. Crystal had written it sometime in the past. In it, she pleaded with Jason to get help. She mentioned alcohol, cocaine, faith, the strain on their family. It wasn't a goodbye letter. It was a warning, one that came too early to be believed and too late to matter. 3 children survived that night. A 13-year-old girl, critically wounded but alive. A 12-year-old boy who ran for help. A baby who slept through the gunfire. None of them would ever return to the life they had before December 22nd. They are now in the care of their grandparents, trying to understand the loss that has no clean explanation.
I want you to think about this a minute. As the investigations unfolded during the night, and we're still in the preliminary stages, and as I always say when we talk soon, whatever we give you today is subject to modification. We found a note that at some time in the past Crystal wrote, and it was open, where she told Jason, you know, you're drinking, you're using cocaine again, this is not the way the family should be, you need God. Crystal, by the way, goes to church every Sunday. We don't know when she wrote the note. It's not dated, there's no time, there's no indication, but it was open. So did she write it as they argued earlier in the evening, or had it been some period of time? We can't determine that. We also were able to talk to the 12-year-old, our Christmas miracle. She said, I begged him, don't shoot me, don't shoot me, don't shoot me, and he shot me anyway. This is things that are never supposed to happen. And certainly we are all very, very happy that our little 13-year-old girl is, from every indication, going to survive and thrive. But the investigation's still underway.
People always ask the same thing afterward. How did it get here? Why that night? Why something so small? But violence like this is rarely about one argument. It's about everything that went unresolved, everything that went untreated, everything that stayed quiet until it didn't. And now, the only person who could fully explain it is gone. 3 days before Christmas, a family disappeared, not from memory, but from normal life. The tree stayed standing, the presents stayed wrapped, the house went quiet. One argument ended a life, another ended too, and the survivors are left to carry a story they never asked to inherit. Because sometimes the most terrifying part of true crime isn't the violence itself, it's how suddenly everything you recognize can vanish over something as ordinary as a television left on too long. And by the time the screen goes dark, it's already too late.
Good evening, I'm Ty Russell. Thank you so much for joining us for News Channel 8 on the CW Tampa Bay. A mother of 3 is dead and one of her children is injured after a fight over Monday Night Football turned into a murder-suicide. News Channel 8's Ryan Arbogast is in Lakeland tonight with the grieving family as they visit their niece who is still in ICU.
This family just wants to know why their sister was murdered, why their 13-year-old niece is fighting for her life in the ICU, and why something as simple as changing the channel on the television could simply destroy a family.
I would tell her that I'm so sorry and I couldn't be there to protect her as her big sister.
A mother of 3, a loving wife, and someone you could count on.
You didn't deserve this, but I promise you I will love your baby so hard.
Murdered in cold blood at her home along Lemon Avenue in Lakeland Monday night. Crystal Kenny's sister Stephanie making the trip to the regional hospital to visit her niece. This 13-year-old girl is a survivor.
Heart sinking and dropping's not even the word.
The Polk County Sheriff's Office says this man, Jason Kenny, Crystal's husband, killed her and shot his stepdaughter in the face after refusing to turn off his football game.
It's sickening to know that he would go around telling people how proud he is of her.
Sheriff Grady Judd says the victim's 12-year-old son called 911. And when emergency crews rolled in, even they were horrified, finding the teen and mom, plus a 1-year-old in a crib, untouched.
This is things that are never supposed to happen.
This husband turned accused murderer has no prior arrests, and Polk County was never called for domestic abuse.
He made us all believe he was this picture-perfect guy.
But you would have never expected him. He was so easygoing.
Kenny ended his life hours later during a standoff in Lake Wales.
The only thing he did right that night was shoot himself.
Leaving 3 children without parents a few days out from the holidays.
I think the world wanted to get to know my sister.
Sheriff Grady Judd and this family say in the wake of this tragedy, there were 2 Christmas miracles. That 13-year-old girl is up, talking, and is expected to be okay. And all of the deputies in the Polk County Sheriff's Office that worked the case came here to the hospital to wish her a Merry Christmas.
All right, y'all, there y'all have it, man. That's the tragic story of the Lakeland family murder/suicide. 3 days before Christmas, man. December 22nd, 2025. Hey, get in that comment section. Let me know what y'all think, man. Drillers and trappers, we outside trapping and drilling 247. Don't go nowhere. Watch that next video.